Cozy Cottage Homestead. This is our fourth meal that we're making from the one whole chicken. It is going to be chicken and dumplings, my own personal favorite recipe. Did you know that chicken and dumplings originated in the southern United States during the Great Depression? It became quite popular, and it was considered a comfort food during the harsh economical times. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It was and still is very frugal to make and feed a very large family. If you have your pantry stocked with just a few basic staples, this was the way to go. The housewives either went and got a chicken from the coop and butchered it themselves and then prepared it for chicken and dumplings. Or if they had canned their chicken ahead of time, this is some canned chicken that we have. It's very easy to can chicken, but with this recipe we're using our chicken from our whole chicken. If you had all of your staples, and back then they canned everything, so they had everything they needed throughout the winter. So I want to read you a Bible verse. Proverbs 21:20. The wise store up choice food in olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. So don't get caught up in believing that there's no reason to stock your pantries, because you really should be stocking your pantries now more than ever. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started with making the chicken and dumplings. Doesn't take very long to cook chicken and dumplings. Takes a little while, but not too long. You're going to need about 2 cups of the cooked chicken, hopefully the chicken that you already saved, about 2 cups of the chicken broth that you probably should have already saved, 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of water, plus 2 tablespoons of either cornstarch or flour, your choice. That's just going to help thicken the gravy in the dumplings. And you need 1 pack of chicken bouillon, or if you have it loose in a jar, about a tablespoon of that. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of turmeric, salt, pepper, and curry powder. 1/4 of a teaspoon of the curry powder. And all of that's optional. And also a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And some celery. However much celery you have, I just had some in my freezer, so I pulled it out. It was fresh celery. And that's all the ingredients for that. And you want to use your favorite biscuit mix to make your dumplings, or if you prefer to use noodles or something like that, I'm going to show you how I do it, all homemade from scratch. And if anyone's interested in my personal biscuit recipe, you can send me an email and I'll send it to you. But I'm not going to rewrite it in the description. I'm just going to focus on the chicken and dumplings part. So I will probably write it down, but I know a lot of people use other things besides biscuits for their dumplings. So I'll have to think about that one. Alright, so let me get the camera changed around a little bit, and then we'll get started on our chicken and dumplings. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is put our chicken broth in our pot. And you want to scrape all of the stuff out your little baggie. Get all of that chicken fat that's in there. It's going to richen up your dumplings. If you're worried about fat, then I guess leave it in there and chunk it, but that's what makes it taste really good. I'm not going to get every little bit of it out, but I'm going to get most of it. Going to add your broth. We did that. About 2 cups of milk. Turn your heat on, probably about a medium heat. Add your celery. And your spices. I had all mine mixed in one little container just to make it easier for the video. going to put the chicken in a little while. We're not going to worry about the chicken right now. You don't want to just be cooked to nothing. So go ahead and get this simmering. Probably bring it to a soft medium boil. It'll take it a few minutes to heat up. After that comes to a boil, you want to add your 2 cups of water with your flour or cornstarch, whichever one you want to do. Alright, and while we bring that to a slow boil, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my dumplings while that's cooking. Okay, for the dumplings, we use our favorite biscuit mix. I'll read the ingredients. This is what I use. 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of milk, a little more or a little less depending on how close your measurements are, 6 tablespoons of shortening, or you could use butter. So you can use whatever you have. So I just cut in my shortening already, just for time for the video. Of course, I'm going to make a mess too. Alright, and I'm going to add the milk. Just go start stirring it until it gets stiff. And if you add too much milk and your dough is too soft, you just add a little more liquid if you want it soft. If you want it stiffer, add a little more flour. I personally, for making it to use it for dumplings, prefer it a little bit thicker than thinner. Because you want the dumplings to stay together. Alright, so I can't really do much with stirring. I really just have to get my hands in it. And flour your surface. I'm going to knead it in the bowl till it all comes together. Of course, it's sticking to my fingers. Don't pay no mind of that stuff flying around. My little puppy dogs will definitely clean it up in a minute. My hands don't always do what I want them to do. Alright, we got to get there. Now when you roll them out, you want to make them a little thinner than you would do for your biscuits. That's the only difference. Most of your basic staples cover a lot of different types of food. I don't think people realize that your basic bread mix is the same for just about every cut of bread that they have out there. So it's a little thinner than I would do it for biscuits, but that's the way you want it because it's going to be for dumplings. Use a pizza cutter, dip it in flour, cut your dumplings however you would like. When you throw them in that hot broth, they're going to poof up. So it doesn't really matter what shape it is. I know some people are particular. Everything's got to look just so. I guess people would starve to death if they was waiting on that at my house, because they just like the way it tastes. I ain't had too many people complain about it, the cooking. Wouldn't make them too small, but that's up to you, however you want to do it. And now the dumplings can just sit there for a few minutes. I'm going to rinse off my hands and we're going to move back over here to this pot. Alright, this is our 2 cups of water with the cornstarch. If you feel like your gravy is getting too thick, just add a little more water to it. It's really just that easy. Don't be scared to mess with your recipe. If something doesn't look right, figure out what to do to it. If you were feeding like 12 people, then I would say double this recipe. But this will easily feed 6 people. Just gonna let that heat back up. I have it on a low heat right now, so don't go crazy on me. When it comes back up to a simmer, I'm going to add my chicken, and then I'll start adding my dumplings. We're going to give that a minute or so to let that get back up to temperature. Get back up to a soft boil. I don't know what else to call it. I just call it a soft boil. You don't want a rolling boil. Maybe y'all could tell me what that is in the comments. Just know there's a rolling boil and then there's a simmer. I'm talking about that stage right before it starts boiling. Alright, we'll go ahead and add our chicken. And I do freeze my chicken with a little bit of broth or water just to keep it from getting freezer burn. So that's a good tip. Sometimes when you dry freeze it, it gets freezer burned. That's kind of a new thing. Everybody dry freezes everything, but back in the day they put water in everything and froze it. And it made that protection coat all the way around your meat, and it kept it from getting freezer burned. And believe it or not, it does help it last a whole lot longer in the freezer. Alright, we're going to go ahead and bring it on up to almost a medium heat. Your stove may be different. Mine's a gas, and it sometimes can be hard to figure out what's what on it. We're also excitedly waiting on one of our goats to have a baby right when I was getting ready to film this video. It's never a perfect time, I guess, but at least it wasn't in the middle of the night, but she's going to be in for a cold night. She hasn't had a baby yet. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2. Won't know until she has them. She was the first one bred. Was not planned. You'll know I'm always talking about the planned breeding, but we had a little mishap one day. The gate was open and the bucks ran straight to the backfield with the girls, and that's who went first. So we got them all back separated, but she got bred about 2 months before the rest of them. But that's okay. It just means we'll have milk coming in sooner than what we thought. We're trying to wait until it was spring, till it was a lot warmer, to have their babies. As soon as this comes up to a soft boil, we can start dropping our dumplings. And I'm starting to see little bubbles that's telling me it's getting really close. So I'm going to go ahead and start dropping dumplings here in just a minute. And some people make them in a little ball and then drop them, or you could just drop them. However you want to do it. I can see it's about to boil. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. But I'm going to go ahead and start dropping them. I'm going to drop in a few at a time, not a whole bunch, because then you're just going to have a big old glob in there. Kind of spread them around. Go ahead and give it a stir. And let my broth come up to a little bit more of a boil. It's not quite there, but you can see they're already starting to float, so it's very close. And since this is a comfort food, some people are scared of it because of the starch and the flour and the white flour. But looks like we're fixing to be in for some rocky roads ahead. It's a good idea to learn how to make all these so-called comfort foods. They will soon fast become survival foods. And we're going to make a spinach salad with this. It's a recipe I found in one of my old-timey cookbooks. Really looks good. I haven't tried it yet. This is supposed to go very well with chicken and dumplings. Therefore, now we have a delicious, healthy, nutritious meal by adding a spinach salad to it. The dog's trying to help me. I think something's going to hit the floor. Go ahead and give it a stir after you add a few dumplings. Just keep on going until you get all the dumplings in. And you can see they're poofing up really good. And I'm probably only about halfway dropping dumplings. So you can tell this pot's fixing to get filled up. So this was our fourth meal. I have another meal plan coming up. We're going to make one pot of something and show you how to make 4 meals out of it. I think it's 4 meals. I know it's definitely 3, possibly 4. I've never seen nobody else come up with this one, so I think that's pretty cool. Something I've always done. It really is a simple meal. After we get all the dumplings in, we're just going to turn it down to a simmer. And then we're going to work on our spinach salad. Got just a few more dumplings to drop in. I'm going to change the camera around, clean up my mess, and show you how to put this salad together. Alright, this is about a half a bag of the baby spinach or spinach. It says just to toss some almonds, sliced roasted almonds. I found some that were already sliced and roasted. And some Mandarin oranges. Just want to toss it all in there. And you're going to mix it all up. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't really know exactly how much I want, so I'm just kind of looking at it and see. This is a large can. I guess this is a 15-ounce can, drained. And I'm just going to toss it with my hands. like I should have got a bigger bowl. And this dressing is a half a cup of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, white vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and about 1 tablespoon of parsley flakes. And you make it ahead of time and put it in your refrigerator. I'm probably not going to need all of this. This made a little more than a half a cup. Just want to mix it up really good. Just drizzle it around the top of it. You don't want to overdo it. You want to taste all the vegetables and the flavors all mixed together. If you overdo it, then you're just going to have a soggy salad. Toss it with this now that it has dressing in it. I don't want to get that all over my hands. But when I get ready to serve this, and it says to put the dressing on right before serving, and we are fixing to eat supper. So, and whenever I put it in bowls to serve it to everyone, I'm going to put 1 boiled egg sliced on each person's bowl, just to add a little more to it. They did not say that in the recipe, but it looks really pretty. And you could go with some more Mandarin oranges or some more almonds, however you want to do it. But I'm really liking the way this is looking. Just give it a light toss like this and stir it up a little bit. Alright, we'll get over there and look at those dumplings. See how they're looking. And then we'll put it in a bowl and show you how all of it looks. Alright, we got the dumplings in the bowl. Got our salad right beside it. Want to show y'all how beautiful these dumplings are. If it wasn't so hot, I would definitely taste one for y'all, but I know it's delicious. And the turmeric gives it that yellow color, which makes it a bit healthier for you. And we got our healthy Mandarin spinach salad, and I added 1 boiled egg on top per person. So I hope y'all are enjoying these meals. This was the 4th one. This was the last one of this session. I do have one more coming up. How to make 1 pot of something. I'm not going to give it away. And I'll show you how to make 3, maybe 4 meals from it. And thanks for joining me today. I hope y'all have learned something and found something yummy that your family likes to eat. And very frugal and healthy. So farewell, my homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.